Blog Talk Radio.
Following ingredients include a look behind the scenes. Cook uncovered until hot. Add grooves to taste.
I would like, if I may, to take you on a strange journey.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl.
The accident was over a year ago. A second woman has been elected president. The 12th planet has been named in the solar system. The last wild polar bear has died. I slept through it all. I was here for my waking. He called it a beginning. He said it was good. I think he may have thought that anything I did was good.
Welcome to Transgender Radio with your host, Mark Angelo Cummings.
And your hostess, Jessica Lane Cummings.
The show for trans folks by trans folks, here to let your voice be heard.
Well, good evening, good people, and welcome to Transition Radio. My name is Mark Angelo Cummings, your host.
And I am Jessica Lynn Cummings, your hostess. Tonight's show is being broadcast live from Cross City, Florida at the Southern Comfort Campground.
We're hearing airplanes in the background.
Yeah, and also, it's April Fool's.
Yeah.
Oh, we forgot to pull a Fool's prank.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Anyway, if you guys want to join us tonight, please call in at 646-716-6895. We're giving away $1 million, so if you call in at 646-716-6895. If you believe that, and that's our April Fool's. Anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying the show, and I hope you guys are checking out our Transgender Highway blog, where we're posting videos and information regarding our journey. We've got another week left here in Cross City, and we're going to be heading up to Georgia. Hopefully it all goes well. So, I don't know about you guys, but this has been the longest winter ever. What was it that Al Gore predicted a while back, something called global warming? Unless I'm missing something here.
Global warming.
Yeah, I think we're heading near
global
folding. Yeah, near an ice age. How many of you listening have a relationship with Mother Earth? And I think this is what the whole basis of this is happening. Mother Earth is rebelling. We've poo-pooed on her and forgotten that she exists. We're all tuned to technology and all sorts of stuff. How many of you actually take in the sun, fresh air, and literally take the time to smell the roses or the flowers, as they say? I can safely say the majority of you sit in front of fluorescent lights behind a cubicle all day and are experiencing what we call sick building syndrome.
So take the time to go outside, at least 15 minutes of your lunch break. Take the time to take in some sun and breathe fresh air. Try to stretch throughout the day. And yes, hydrate yourself as much as possible. You will feel the difference. How many of you neglect your health to the point you are running on solely caffeine? We as transgender individuals need to take a close look at our health. Here we are thinking about taking hormones, undergoing surgeries, which our bodies may reject or may not be able to fully recover from due to poor health.
And talking about the sun, sun gazing is something, it's a practice that has been done through the years, and it's very good for you. The majority of people never get any sun. You need
also
vitamin
a good
D.
source of vitamin D.
Right, you need vitamin D to actually have optimal health. And, we are undergoing something that could really mess up our health. We don't know. There's no true long-term studies on taking hormones, so you need to start off with a good, healthy body. So needless to say, before you take on the plunge, you need to change your health for the better.
What, are we talking about iced tea now?
No.
Taking this tea plunge?
No. Besides your physical health, how many of you take the time to meditate, to create balance in your mind? Are you able to deal with stress, rejection, and emotional pain? If the answer is no, then do you think you're ready to transition? Do you have any idea what you're about to embark on? It's not all glam, People they think, okay, I'm going to transition. They're overweight. They don't know what the word workout is. They've never lifted a weight in their life. Weight as in, gym weight. And lifting beer doesn't count. Not a good way of doing any kind of biceps. And, I don't know, how about you transgender females? What are the most unhealthy things that you engage in?
Chocolate.
Chocolate, no. Actually, chocolate could be good for you, but in moderation. That's the key. Balance. Moderation is the key. A little piece
Chocolate cookies. Think about pregnant women.
Well, but I'm talking about before you actually transition. When you're thinking about going on hormones.
Well, I can't say because I changed my diet before I transitioned. So my diet consisted of going from beef, pork, everything. I stopped eating beef and pork, which was my main, endeavor into changing my diet. But then I went to eating mostly greens, lettuce, veggies, fruits, fish, and stuff like that. But now I got off the wayward side and back to doing a little bit here and there of the bad stuff. So.
With FTMs, because testosterone does increase your blood pressure enormously, we have to be very careful the amount of sodium that we have in our diet, and sodium means salt. We have to be careful how much alcohol we put in our bodies because any kind of hormone does tax your liver, meaning it puts a lot of strain on your liver. So it's all about balance. Doesn't mean you have to be a nun or a priest or anything of that nature. Just kind of, if you're going to do 5 bad things, try to do at least 6 or 7 good things to balance out, because that is all your body actually knows is balance.
Mm-hmm. Well, we can't believe that in this day and age, and after the death of Fred Phelps, the poster child for anti-gay hate speeches, and there are still individuals that have a permanent heart-on against gay, lesbians, and trans individuals. When will society learn to live and let live? How does my life affect yours? How can we contribute to an already messed up world filled with hate, war, famine, and greed?
Yeah, actually the death of, that came on as a surprise. I know he was very old and everything else, but, when you have all that hatred in your heart, that's what causes cancer. That's what actually kills you. It's that anger, the hatred, the constant battling within yourself and within others. It's like really matter, what somebody else is doing. I mean, we just ran across, what was her name, Miss something or another on YouTube.
Oh, I call her Miss Illegitimate, something or other, but her name on there is Miss Legitimate.
Yeah, all her videos lately are against gay black men. She has this thing that, oh my God, all of a sudden all these men that are black are turning gay.
Hey, wait till you go meet Fred Phelps, and he tried to go through heaven, the gates of heaven, and then they said, hey, St. Peter said, hey, I want you to meet Adam and Steve. It's like, and he's like, what? I've been lied to all these years.
Yeah, right.
Poof. Now he's in hell.
So really, people, look at the world around you. You're doing a great job of messing up your own world. Stop blaming the LGBT for your demise. It's easy to blame someone else for your problems or that of the world.
Exactly.
And it's like, that's all these anti-gay, anti-trans individuals, especially the religious sector, believe that we are tearing down the morale of the world, we're destroying the family. They're doing a good enough job on their own without the help of the LGBT community.
I have to say, I don't hate anybody, no matter who they are, because life's too short to hate. Life should be about getting in touch with yourself, not worrying about what others do or how they act or, what they go through. It's life is a journey of self in a lot of aspects, and that's the one thing I believe that they don't tell you. And, to find that true happiness means to find self. And there you have it.
Yeah,
plain and simple.
You go around life just hating on everybody and just pointing fingers at mistakes that others do. You forget that your life is not so perfect, that you do have things in your life that are creating this need to point your fingers to the outside world. Because if you're happy with your life, you have no need to pick on other people, to bully people, to make fun of people. There's no need for none of that. Hey, guys, anytime you could call in and bring in with your comment, your question, 646-716-6895. Again, that's 646-716-6895.
Tell us your thoughts on the subject.
Yeah.
Tell us to screw off. Whatever.
This is your show. It's for your voices to be heard. We stopped taking on guests in the radio show because it was getting to be a bit too much for us. This is a lot easier. Everything else we're doing. But we don't want to stop the show because I think this is a great avenue for you guys to call in, voice your opinions. Use it. It's here for you.
Exactly. Well, here's an interesting article we came across. California teacher returns to school as a woman. California high school science teacher gave students and colleagues a new lesson in biology Monday, showing up for the first time as a woman a week after her plans to switch genders became suddenly public. The former Gary Scone, 56, an award-winning educator, husband, father, and grandfather who has taught at Yosemite High School for 24 years, will now be known as Karen Adele Scott, she says.
I'm actually going to work as my real out self, Scott told NBC News. I stand in front of the class, and I am so filled with joy. Under a long auburn wig and makeup, wearing a blue flowered dress and size 12 wide open-toe shoes, the transgender teacher said her brain will now match her body after a transition that has been lifetime in coming. I will not return as my male persona ever again, she said. The change has stirred controversy, though, in the small town of Oakhurst, California, in the Gold Rush territory just outside of Yosemite National Park. One neighbor, Kathy Bales, wrote a letter published in the local newspaper last week telling Scott to quit her job and urging the community to reject her.
I see this as an assault on the minds and morals of our children, she wrote. It blurs the lines of what is right and wrong. Others, however, have rallied to support Scott, saying she's a role model for integrity, courage, and authenticity. Karen is truly an inspiration to everyone, said Julia Cruz, 34, of nearby Coarse Gold, California, whose 18-year-old daughter, Erin Assis, was a student of the former Mr. Scone. I never expected it, but I am very happy for her, Assis said. She'll still be the same excellent teacher that she was, that she is.
And that's great. You see that support. Students presented Scott with a giant card and cookies in class Monday. Ms. Scott, no matter what anyone says, you are courageous and beautiful for being who you truly are, wrote this one student by the name of Charlotte Smith, a hero. Scott notified district officials and colleagues earlier this year that she had started the medical and social process to transition from male to female and that she would return after spring break in April as a woman.
Being transgender is not a choice, she wrote to colleagues, but someone from the school, a colleague, Scott Guest, leaked her letter to the local paper, sparking a firestorm of reaction.
That's crazy. That is truly crazy. I mean,
yeah, it is.
It's the same person, no matter what's between her legs, no matter how this person identifies. Was a great teacher before, why shouldn't she be a great teacher now? Just because she's trying to align her mind and body. Humanity needs to stop getting so stuck in gender and so stuck
Well, so what? How many women walk around wearing jeans and T-shirts, you know? What's the difference between that and freaking guys dressing more effeminately and androgynously, or being transgender? You know, we're transgender. We transition from one to the other in hopes to find that balance that we're looking for within ourselves. And, you know, once we do that, you know, it's always like there's this template and this uniform that everybody must follow to be accepted in society. And I think that's just a big load of BS.
You know, that's what happens when you have a system that benefits from creating drones and robots, because if you think outside of the box, you're considered dangerous. If you do something different from the status quo, you're considered mentally unstable, because they want everybody to be the same. They have these little programs, and they want everybody to fear the government, everybody to fear the system, so that they become good little workers and pay their taxes.
But if we didn't think outside the box, and corporation employees, etc., didn't think outside the box, where would technology be today?
Well,
because a lot of people thought outside the box and created the impossible. Look at Steve Jobs. We just watched that.
Yeah, but even he was being shut down and not allowed to, as creative as he wanted to be. The board members of that corporation wanted him to tailor it down and create a protocol. But that's the key.
Those corporate heads were acting as society in everyday world, basically, is where I was going with that.
Yes.
So anyway, here is another interesting article. Poll shows transgender rights bill has wide support while lawmaker fears here we go, tongue-tied again. Support while lawmakers fear guy in a dress updated. A Maryland bill that would prohibit discrimination against transgender people has overwhelming support among state residents, according to a new poll. Opponents, meanwhile, continue to obsess about men and dresses nefariously, hanging around women's bathrooms, even while acknowledging that they're probably going to lose this one.
Is that the, yeah, okay. Now, the Gaucher poll found that 71% of those surveyed said that they favor including gender identity in the state's anti-discrimination laws. 20% were opposed. Metro Weekly reports majority support from both women and men, from black, white, and other races, and from Republicans, 60 to 27, Democrats 79 to 15, and Independents 68 to 23. The state's General Assembly stands poised to pass the protection in a bill called the Fairness for All Marylanders Act of 2014. Maryland Senate approved it earlier this month, voting 32 to 15 to grant protection based on appearance, expression, or behavior of an individual regardless of their individual's assigned sex at birth. The bill would apply to housing, employment, and public accommodations like hotels, restaurants, stores, and theaters, with the exception for some private clubs and owners-occupied rental buildings with fewer than 5 units, as well as religious groups and educational institutions.
The House, which passed a similar measure in 2011 before it died in the Senate, is expected to take up its version this term. Opponents of what they term the bathroom bill claim that prohibiting discrimination against transgender people would radically change our society and put our families and children at risk. In the words of Del Neal Parrott, R. Washington County, members of an anti-LGBT group called Maryland Citizens for a Responsible Government, their website is found at not-myshower.com, have long warned the protecting trans right, that protecting trans rights will lead in being attacked in public restrooms by cross-dressing men. Elaine McDermott, a member of the group, cited 5 reports of attacks and assaults committed by men in restrooms in recent testimony against the House bill, reports the Washington Blade.
The paper goes on to note that McDermott described Chrissy Lee Polis, a trans woman who was attacked at Baltimore County McDonald's in 2011. I remember that, too, as a prostitute. Oh, now they're making her out to seem like a prostitute. Whether she is or not, that has nothing to do with anything. The argument that providing transgender rights will result in an increase of sexual violence against women or men in public bathrooms is beyond suspicious. Tony Troop, spokesman for a Massachusetts sexual assault victim organization, recently told the Media Matters the only people at risk are the transgender men and women whose rights to self-determination, dignity, and freedom of violence are too often denied.
Media Matters spoke with members of the law enforcement and victims advocacy communities in 12 of the 17 states, plus D.C. and Puerto Rico, with statewide transgender anti-discrimination protections. None reported any incidents of sexual assault in women's bathrooms or out of them arising from these laws. In 2012, Thomas Major, police chief for Montgomery County, one of the Maryland jurisdictions that already prohibits discrimination against transgender people, also denied the allegations that those protections had led to increased attacks in women's bathrooms.
Major told Huffington Post by email that his original statement stands. No cases of women being attacked in public restrooms have been reported to us since the original 2012 story, he said. But if foes continue to play the same old tune, some seem to recognize their song is no longer at the top of the charts. Here is what longtime opponent of the LGBT rights, Del Kathy Afsali, R. Frederick, had to say about the Fairness for All Marylanders Act in her latest constituent newsletter.
I want to take this opportunity to let you know that I am completely and unequivocally opposed to this bill, which doesn't aim to end discrimination, but to normalize abnormal behavior. HB 1226, House Bill 1265. seeks to create a new class of protected individuals in the state's anti-discrimination statute. Specifically, the bill defines gender identity as appearance, expression, or behavior of an individual regardless of the individual's assigned sex at birth.
It's important that Maryland does not separate one's gender identity and their assigned sex at birth, as noted in the bill. Like the majority of Marylanders, I share the view that this redefinition rejects our society's understanding of human nature. So, ladies, if you happen to see a guy in a dress in the restaurant's bathroom, you'll know the bill passed and that I voted no.
That's like the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. This whole bathroom situation is so ridiculous. I mean, you know, a trans woman is not going into the bathroom to pick up a woman, okay? For starters. A good portion of transgender females are pretty much not very sexually active. There are some that are. But now, does this mean that we should prevent lesbians from going into the women's room? Should they have to use the men's room because of their sexual preference? Because they would be the ones more likely to go pick up women in the bathroom, don't you think?
Yeah. That'll probably be next. Who knows? I mean, it's crazy.
Or vice versa with men. You know what I mean?
They are picking at straws. You know, they're trying to find whichever way possible to stop humanity from being humanity. They just want to push their religious beliefs, their morals, you know, it's nuts. And
I mean, and should gay men have to use the ladies' room because they may be in the guys' room trying to pick up guys? You know, I mean, it's absurd.
Yeah, it's just that people have issues with, unfortunately, and I don't think society will ever understand our plight, that we want to align our minds with our body. They will continue to see us no matter what surgeries we do, no matter what we do to our bodies. They will continue to see you guys as men in dresses, and we are some sort of weird dykes that decided to be manly or something, you know, for male privileges. Who knows? Anyway, we are going to touch upon our Shame on You section this session or this week or whatever, and this week's article is written by my lovely wife, Jessica. The article is entitled The Pros and Cons of Transition, which has received a lot of feedback, some good, some bad. You know, hey, you have a right to your opinion and your voice. Anyway, the article goes, do you feel like a woman trapped in a man's body? Do you feel like a man trapped in a woman's body? Have you ever considered changing to the opposite gender from that of your gender? Have you ever looked to the internet for answers as to why you feel this way? If your answer is yes to one or more of the above questions, the odds are you are trans. You may be trans. My guess is you have searched and found countless videos on the topic regarding transition.
You have even found many stories written by transgender people in blogs and on social media. Unfortunately, most of these videos, blogs, and social media platforms only show the happy and positive side of the individual. Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever really seen the dark side of these individuals? My guess is no, as no one really wants to go public with their dark sides and other problems. They show you a happy, perfect little life wrapped in a pretty little package.
When in reality, there are points in their life where they literally were falling apart and hitting rock bottom. Transition is a major decision and should not be a venture you just jump into head first. There are many pros and cons that not every blog, YouTube video, or social media platform will show you. Let's face it, no one wants the world to see them in a less than spectacular light. The key is that the good times will mostly likely come in the long run, but you have to be prepared if things do not go your way. You must realize the odds of becoming a gorgeous supermodel or pinup girl may not happen, and if that is the angle you're shooting for, you might want to think again.
You must also realize that you may go through all your surgeries and take hormones for many years, yet there may be something that still calls you out as your original birth gender. The key here is to embrace that if it happens. You have to consider the fact you may not transition and become 100% passable and be able to live your life as a woman in society without anyone being the wiser. The truth is, there are a lot of things that play a part on how effeminate or masculine you will become after you go through transition.
You must be prepared to find happiness with whatever the outcome may be. One huge determination factor in MTF is age, which truly does play a major role in the personal success of one's transition. Obviously, the longer testosterone has dominated your body, the harder it will be to eliminate the secondary characteristics. The earlier you can transition, the more successful your transition will likely be. That is the pros to that scenario. But what is the con? Well, the con is the longer you will be taking hormones and the significant reduction in life, this could be a negative factor in the overall transition.
There are no real studies of effects for long-term use of hormone replacement therapy, so you should have a target date for full SRS, or at least an orchiectomy, so you can reduce your HRT regimen to minimize any debilitating effects HRT may cause. I mean, after all, we go through all of this to improve our quality of life, right? Bottom line is, essentially, we are all pretty much guinea pigs and must be willing to deal with any consequences that may arise.
And most people don't realize that. You know, they think it's all glitz and glamour. Maybe some don't think that, but they don't really know that, you know, I mean, I have a job. I mean, these are my family. You know, because everybody thinks when they come out with this news that everybody's going to go, wonderful.
Yeah.
You're the daughter I've always wanted, or vice versa.
It doesn't work that way.
And we've been told that this is very negative. We've got some people that says, well, we're trying to scare people. We're not trying to scare anybody.
No.
We're just trying to, you know.
We're trying to raise awareness for the good and the bad and the ugly. You know, it's not all peaches and cream, wine and roses. You know, but if you'd like to finish reading the article, you can view the article at shameonyou2014.blogspot.com.
You know, we've got lots of great articles there from wonderful writers and investigative reporters that have been contributing to the blog for blog's almost like 2 months now. Right? We've got over 27,000 hits, so I guess people really do like to hear the nitty-gritty stuff.
We touch on topics that are very controversial that most people don't really want to talk about. And, you know, so, I mean, we'll shut it in whatever light we see fit as writers to do so.
Exactly.
And there is a lot of controversial topics in the transgender community and in the LGBT in a whole.
Yeah, and they're always. I mean, I was reading through my Facebook news feed today, and somebody was being attacked, and, you know, again, it's a constant thing, you know, that attack on one another, and somebody has said the straight community accepts him more so than the trans community. There's always this drama, and it's like, I don't understand why we're doing this to one another, instead of just, you know, realizing we're on this together, we need to unite. We're better in numbers than if we fragment ourselves in groups of elites and those that use hormones, those that don't, those that have SRS, those, and so forth and so on. You know, this is a very, very much a spiritual journey.
Instead of having a bunch of little cliques fighting for different freaking topics, why don't we all band together and fight for the same topic? That's our right to live as we wish to live and be accepted as who we are. Period. And that should be the vision. That should be the goal that we're looking to fight for, not for, ooh, that's a bad word. You know, you can't say that. It's like, you know, derogatory, this, that, the other. Okay, well, you know, whatever.
It's a matter of maturity. I think a lot of trans people are very immature. And we see it. It's almost like a bunch of schoolboys and girls in the playground fighting for things, you know, back in high school or even junior high.
Exactly.
And hopefully, you know, when you go through your puberty and grow up a little bit, you start realizing that there's no need for the fighting and all that stuff. Well, guys, we're on the road and we'll be visiting different states in our journey. If you're interested in having us perform our music, provide your place of work, school, or any organization with sensitivity training and education regarding trans issues, please contact us at transitionradioshow@gmail.com. Again, guys, transitionradioshow@gmail.com. I put on lots of seminars in the past to educate medical providers. I am a occupational therapist, and I have a big background on psychology, so definitely be able to tailor a program directly for your organization. So again, contact us for either one of those things: music, you know, public speaking, colleges, anything like that. We'll be happy to oblige. So we have this Thursday on the TV show, Bunny Bennett, yes, from
Steam Powered Show.
Yes, awesome show that's going to be. She's an amazing, amazing artist and is transgender.
Very animated and awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So it should be a really great show, one you're not going to want to miss, I'm sure.
Exactly. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining in once again. We had a few people in chat. They were in for a little while and left. And but, you know, this is your show. Give us a call. Remember, if you want to voice something, whether you agree or disagree with us, we're not going to get mad at you. We want to hear your voice. But we'll try again next week. Remember, it's 646-716-6895. And we're going to leave you now and stay with the usual theme song of the show. We're going to play our theme song, On the Run, which is appropriate because we're going to be taking off in another week, heading out to Georgia. And hope to catch many of you up there soon. Yes. All right, guys. We love you, but remember to always love yourselves, too. Good night. Mwah.